I got so tired yesterday, surprisingly, not surprising, from doing that fence, which really wasn't even a part of my plan yesterday. I just thought, oh, you can't let a good day go to waste, a good, sunny, beautiful day. So anyway, it's the next morning, and I've got my sketchbook out, and I've got my ruler and my markers, well, pens. What I want to do this morning before, while we're having our coffee and before we go to the county office, which first off feels pretty like, I don't know how they say nowadays, like boomer of me or whatever. Like, I'm not exactly sure if that's supposed to be an insult, but I looked online. I tried to find my information online. Like, how folks are like, I'm just going to have to drive to the store, find out, or, go in and talk to somebody. And then half the time you go in to talk to somebody and they're like, it's online, sir. That's how I am feeling about this so like, I'm going to try to justify it. But also, like, I've never done anything that particularly needed permits or that needed, like, county code regulations or whatever. So I want to do it right. Like, we are really in a residential area, and I have ideas, but I want to do it right. I really do. Like, not only for, like, not to get fines or whatever, but for the safety of, like, the situation. Like, if I'm going to build a floating deck, I want to know, and I think I did find information online. I think, like, I can do something that's not attached, that's no taller than 18 inches, and like 200 square feet. So I did find information online. But like for the fencing, that I'm not sure about. And part of it is because I think, like, we are a residential neighborhood, and it's a planned neighborhood. So our house was built 10 years ago from a particular builder, and then I don't know, only like 4 of the houses in our neighborhood were built from this builder. And then a different builder got the land or something and is building all the other houses. And you can tell because there's a really stark difference. All the other houses are the kind, like, they don't have garages usually. They're carports, and they're like that modern farmhouse style. And our house with the others that are just like us are a little bit more of that, like, I want to say like a new build, of course, but like a classical Louisiana, sophisticated, moody, a little more moody with the less modern farmhouse, just a little more like traditional, maybe is the word. So anyway, like, because we're that planned estate, like, or neighborhood, what are the covenants and the restrictions? And I did go and I looked at my signing documents or whatever from when we bought the place. And it says, like, I think it basically said, like, you've had a chance to review or request from the county and you haven't made any claims or something. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't really read that, did I? Because I didn't investigate. I just assumed. So is going to the county office this morning going to be particularly fruitful and useful? I don't know, but I do want to go. And if anything else, they can get me in the right direction. So what we need to do this morning, while we've got our coffee and we're getting ourselves ready, I talked yesterday in my video about some of the things I wanted to ask about or look into, but I need to write a list because I've already forgotten. I might even have to go back and watch what I did. I want to write a list because I get so flustered and I forget what I'm doing when I'm out and about and I go into a different store or go somewhere. So and I want to sketch out the house too, like the land. It obviously won't be to scale, but I want to sketch it out and kind of have an idea so I can, if somebody's there that's like, yeah, come into my office, we'll talk about what you want, your plans right now, right? Like, I want to be prepared to, like, show what I think I've got going on and what I want to do. So let's do that now so that we can kind of wake up, get ourselves situated, and come up with a plan before we go to the county office. So this is kind of the rough kind of draft. What I had done on my previous one was I had marked like where the utilities and stuff are in orange, and then the rest in grass. So, and then the blue is where I wanted the fence. So I think I do need to still mark the utilities, and we can do that in orange. So this is a utilities, we know that. Shoot, I should have done it already. That's a utilities in front of this front window, and this is obviously not to scale, but in front of this front window there's like a sewer, utilities, right on the front of the property. So the other thing I do want to mark is that, remember there's that drainage pipe. Remember we looked at that before, and that goes underneath the walkway. And then right in here there's like a, remember that? There's like a grate. Now obviously when they do a survey, they'll be able to tell that. And then remember, just on the other side and in the front is another sewer line cap thing. And then our mailbox is up there, but this is, the sewer line goes like that, and then there's like this culvert. So I don't even think this is our property, if I'm being completely honest. So drainage pipe, plumbing pipe, and then the utility box thing, which I do believe is pretty much on our property. Here is where I'm thinking, this is that concrete back patio. And what I want to do is a floating deck along here, right? And then we've got the back fence and whatnot comes about to the back part of the house here. What I want to see is how far forward can we bring that gate for the back part of so the back is more gated, or like, can we bring it to the front and put a gate there? I think that's a good start, because I really want to know about the fencing. I want to know if I can do a floating patio or a floating deck. And knowing like that these utilities and stuff are here, it's like we'll have to figure out the property line and would it make sense to fence this off. Okay, let's come up with our list. Okay, I think that's good enough. If I forgot anything, I'm sure they'll let us know, or we'll think about it and we'll go. So let's get ready and let's go to the county office. Okay, we made it to the county office where you can go and like, I don't know, permit department? I'm a little bit nervous. I've never gone to the county office before. I think the only time I've ever been to a county office was because when Seth and I got married. We got married in the courthouse, and then we had to go and like file our paperwork or something, or like confirm our identity. I don't know, but we're here and I'm going to go in and I just, hope that they're friendly, which they probably are because it's the South, and hopefully they'll get me in the right direction. I don't know if I can film. I don't think you can probably film in a government building, although we do pay for it, don't we, with our taxes? I don't know, but I'm not going to risk it because I'm already nervous and I don't even know if I'm in the right spot. Okay, I'll let you guys know what I learned. Okay, bye. See you not bye, but like see you in a bit. Okay, y'all. I am done at the county office, and I don't know why I get so nervous. Folks are so friendly down here in the South. Oh, and I love people, and I love getting out and about. And so I got a lot of information from the lady. So it turns out that our property, so we live in a very small town, kind of in between two bigger towns. And it turns out, and they're not even big towns, so it's like they're not that big, but turns out our property is not in zoning. So there's no zoning, she said. And what she was telling me is everything does need a permit, and I can do all of the work myself. Well, I was like, me and my husband, because he is going to help, but like probably not as much because he's offshore. So she gave me this paper. So what I have to do is a site plan. And she said that this is really good, my drawing that I did, but it needs the measurement. So it maybe isn't going to be a perfect to scale, but I have to put the measurements of, need to include all adjacent streets. Okay, wait. List distances from each side of the new fence to the property lines and any pre-existing structures on the property. So the one thing too that she had said was 5, because it's no zoning, it's 5 feet setback from the property line. So, and I was like, well, are you sure? Because, well, not like, are you sure? I didn't say it like that, but I said, the fence that's currently there is, I'm pretty sure, like directly on the property line, because there isn't like 5 feet to go back from us and then the neighbor on that other side. It's probably like 10 feet from the house and then 10 feet from their house. Like it's directly in between. So she's like, well, maybe they own the fence. And I was like, I don't think so, because they don't have a fence. It's only our fence that goes on our backyard. So she said, as long as y'all are in agreement, she's like, talk to them and see. She said it shouldn't be a problem if it's already there. They're probably fine with it. But talk to them so that you guys are in agreement, so that there isn't any kind of like dispute. So also I asked about bringing the fence forward. And she said, so remember, like my idea, I wanted to see if I can't bring the fence forward to the front and fence the front. And she said, that's fine, as long as it's still the 5 feet from like the property lines. But she said, you do have to make sure it tapers down. And I don't want, like at the front, because you can't block the view of the house from the road or something. She didn't say it like that, but I think I've heard something. That's kind of, I think, what she was trying to say. But I only wanted to do like a white picket fence, like a short one anyway. I don't need a privacy fence. I just want like a fence for the dogs and everything. So I think your standard 3.5 foot height fence is going to be just fine. So I can do the fencing on my own. And I do need a permit. So I have to do the site plan. I can do a patio on the back. I can't fence in the utilities. They have to be able to still access the utilities. That front section that has that utilities, they have to be able to access that and have space around to work. So that might be, we might have to be creative about how we do that. She said, when this property was built in 2015, it was a brand new build for the person that purchased it, which I already knew that from my own research. All they did was an application. So they didn't do, but she said things have changed since then. So they did everything they were supposed to do at that time. So they didn't do a survey. They didn't have, I'm sure they had permits and stuff, but they didn't do all of the things that you have to do now. So, because I asked if there was a survey on file or if I should get one. And she said, you could get one, but you probably don't need to, because you already have a perimeter fencing on the back. You just have to follow it to the front. And when you get you can probably find your own pinpoints. And when she said, do call the 811 to get, call before you dig, to make sure that we know exactly what, where stuff is under the ground. I might still want to get a survey though, only because like, how do you know if you're 5 feet from the front? Like, we don't know the front that well. So I don't know, but I guess there's no survey. As far as covenants, codes, and restrictions or whatnot, she's like, not able to answer. She was like, I don't know. She didn't know. She was like, it would be whatever's your neighborhood that you pay into. And I was like, well, we don't pay into it. It's not an HOA. It's just, there is a name that for the other house, our property, like I said, our house was built with like 2 or 3, maybe 4 other properties total in the whole entire neighborhood area, separate. And then a different building people came in, and that's the name of our neighborhood, is that other name for those other houses. So we're still in the same neighborhood, and I think it applies. But like, there was nothing in our paperwork. She doesn't seem to have anything on file about like code. So she was saying I could call one of these, I could call them and see like what are the restrictions of the neighborhood. But she almost was kind of like, just do it. And I'm like, I kind of want to know if I'm going to break the rule, you know? Anyway, so she was really helpful. What's the other thing? I can build a floating backyard deck if I want to. They just have to know the dimensions. I can have rain barrels, chicken coops. I can do whatever I want because there's no zoning. So that's kind of cool. Raised garden beds, all of that. I can do all of that. And I was also asking, like, could I purchase the lot next to ours and have a way bigger yard? So she looked up the guy that owns that lot and gave me their mailing address because I guess it's registered on the online or something. So maybe we could buy that lot. I don't know if we want. We don't want to stay here forever, so I don't know. Anyway, really good information, really helpful. We're not in zoning. We're not in a flood zone. So I can do whatever I want. I think I just need to get permits for any additions, any building. That's what the thing says was about, where new construction will take place. In this case, new construction will be your new fence. So, and then I'll talk with the neighbor guy and see. So what do we do now? Should we go to Home Depot and like try to price out materials? Should we call 811 and see if they can come today and like look at stuff? I don't know what's next, but this was real successful going to the county office. She gave me her phone number too. She's like, you don't have to drive down here next time. You can just, because this isn't that close. Like, we're a little bit on the outskirts. So she's like, you can just call me and let me know your questions. Okay. All right. I think let's go to Home Depot and just see and try to price out like fence panels, deck board stuff, gutters, rain barrels, like material. Let's just go and try to get an idea. Also, permits are only like $25 or $100 or $200, depending on the cost of your project. So let's go and see if we can't go to Home Depot. You guys know I love Home Depot. Let's see some pricing and what it might look like to even put in a fence, you know? Okay, I'll see you guys at the store. Okay, we just made it to the Home Depot, and I called the building developer folks that is building in our neighborhood, even though they weren't the ones that built our house, just to see if they had a copy of like the restrictions or whatever, the covenants of the deed of the land or whatever it's called. And she did, and she sent it to me, and it is applicable from like 2013. So before our house was built and bought. And I read through it, and you're not allowed to have a fence in the front yard. But what I thought was curious is you're also not supposed to have like RVs and boats and trailers visible from the road. Those have to be like hidden behind a privacy, which is not. Like, there's so many in our neighborhood. Also, you're supposed to walk any animals on a leash. They have to be leashed on the neighborhood roads, which they're not. That's why, like, I can't walk my dogs on a leash in the neighborhood, is because everybody else's dogs are loose, just running around chasing out. And then the other thing was like 2-car garage door down, like minimum. And they're building these ones with carports. So now I'm sitting here wondering, like, okay, can you just do what you want and the deeds and the restrictions don't actually matter? and I'm the only one that's like even she was like, oh, no one's really requested that before. Well, what are you you're supposed to do the right thing. So am I like, first off, if they're building without a garage, then they're not even following the rules of the covenants of the land. And we don't have an HOA, and I don't care to report people that have a boat. Like, I'm not going to be reporting anybody. It would be nice if people's dogs didn't come chasing us down the street. Yeah, that would be nice, but like, I'm not trying to press people, I'm not trying to do that. I just want to follow the rules myself. But that means I can't put in a front fence. Oh my gosh, there's a cat. What is that cat doing in the Home Depot parking lot? Wow, it's too hot out for that. So anyway, like, can I not put a fence in the front yard because it says you're not allowed to? Probably. But it seems like it's one guy that owns all of this land and that has like given the rights to these people to build on it or sell it, and the one that owns the lot next to me. So I might send him a letter. And see if, one, he'll sell us the lot next door, and then two, make an exception on, or maybe it's not an exception, make an amendment to our lot. And if he'll sell us the other one, our lot, to fence the front. But do I really want to go through all of that if we're not going to live here forever? Really, we're not. Like, we're just barely going to be living here. Something to think about. But let's go into Home Depot and shop around for fence panels for the backyard. I don't know, guys. So where even is fence panels? Probably out in the garden center. Wouldn't it be nice to have one of these though? Maybe if we can screen in that back porch, then we can get that. Let's see if it's in the garden center. May not be. I've never shopped for fence before. So I had thought about maybe doing some sort of a retaining wall, not even very tall, literally just maybe two of these tall, in the back where it's kind of wanting to flood. And I wonder, maybe a French drain style in the back. These are nice. They're a little more rough on the edges. I don't know. I kind of actually like these a little more. Just the plain. These might not be big enough. Rock wall large Sierra blend. Oh, because if you want it to look like a rock. Jeez. It's kind of expensive. Huh. Honestly, I really was kind of thinking just these plain ones. Do kind of even like how the picture shows. Do like two of these facing us, and then back in the back would be the, like, where that water, we can put gravel, and then we can maybe put ferns on the back side instead of a fence. Maybe. Okay, I'm not seeing any fence panels though. Like, that stone is cool for retaining wall kind of idea. I'm literally not seeing any fence panels. I guess maybe you don't buy it in the store. Or maybe you get somebody to do it. I don't know. Okay, lattice. Maybe we could do something like a raised bed. This is decking material, wood filler. No, maybe we could do something like a raised concrete footer thing in the back, and then we could do some kind of a lattice like this and have something like plants growing on it. as a natural fencing barrier. But otherwise, okay, patio decking, that's cool and all, but that's not, I mean, is this what I want? Is this what I was thinking about, a floating deck? I mean, look at the options. That's kind of cool. Although that doesn't really look like decking. What is this? It's siding. Okay, this isn't even decking. Honestly, I might have better luck looking online because this is not what I was thinking. Like, where's, I mean, yes, lumber, wood, that makes sense. But I was thinking vinyl, like vinyl fencing is what I was thinking. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm just like literally right here. Okay, rail vinyl fencing, 2-pack, routed for flat 1-inch slope terrain. Okay, that's probably good. I think we do have a slope. Gate kits. Oh, but I can't do the front yard. Oh, but you would still need a gate to get to the backyard. Let me show you. See what you guys think. Is this what we should do? Look. 6 foot by 8 foot privacy fence, panel fence. But I was maybe not wanting to do rail vinyl fencing infill boards. What does that even mean? I don't know that I was actually wanting to do, oh my gosh, these are way too tall. Post caps, 6 foot by 6 foot panel, I guess, but I was thinking 6 foot by 6 foot. I was thinking not privacy. I mean, is that the only option? Like, I was thinking just regular, like picket fencing, you know, like a cute white picket fence. Keep the dogs in. Yeah, these are for railings for a patio. We're not doing that. I was just thinking regular white picket fencing, but in a vinyl version instead of wood. Maybe wood really is just the better way. Or maybe people only do, that can't be the only fencing section. Come on, Home Depot. I was really, maybe I have to go online and like connect with an expert or something and like plan out the dimensions. Oh, well, should we do chain link? Nobody likes chain link. Nobody likes chain link. But see, this is so much better of a height. This is what I was thinking, like this height is so much better. I don't care about the privacy. I care about just keeping the dogs in the backyard. Maybe chain link could be good too, because then we could grow stuff on it. But with that, and how much is chain link? The gate is $90. A galvanized line post is $21. And then galvanized fabric, 72 feet by 50, or 72 inch by 50. I don't know really what that means. $139. And then honestly though, let's be real. You expect me to stretch this out tight to fit the posts? Unless there's a tool, how do you even get it to connect to the post? Okay, that might be out. Plus, I think it looks cheap. I don't actually mind it, but I think people do, when they see chain link, they do think cheap. Unless there's a better way to make it. But yeah, they've got everything. Select the, oh, scan and plan. Okay, maybe this is what we'd have to do. Look, it says scan and plan how much hardware you'd need. Maybe this is just for chain link though. You enter your dimensions, you select your height and your finish, select whatever top rail post, grates in your framework, and then all of the accessories. Oh man. Okay, that doesn't look that difficult. Oh, and then they've got a checklist for your fence installation. Okay, honestly, I want to do chain link just because they give you really clear instructions. It's like step 1 through 4. Here's your checklist. You can do it. Anybody can do it. So maybe that's the way. Especially if we can only do the backyard. I guess like kind of who cares if it's only the backyard. But will it rot? Probably. Okay, door stuff. Man, I was really hoping for more. Yeah, wire fencing and ladders. They just really didn't have as much as I was hoping. As far as the vinyl fencing, that's too bad. Gutters, we do need gutters. And I can do that myself, the lady said at the permit office. But we would need them to match. I found that in the restrictions and covenants. The gutters do have to match the, like the paint job. But I was thinking about painting anyway because it's a little bit tired. I don't know how often people paint, but probably every 10 years seems reasonable to paint your house. Yeah, drop outlet, yeah. We would need a lot of these options. So I don't know if we want Amerimix as the brand, aluminum or vinyl. Honestly, probably vinyl. I feel like metal aluminum is just gonna rust down here. Do the style. I think we would need 6-inch. We have a lot of rain and 3/4 down. We would need a lot of, we have a lot. Oh, we can visit the pro desk for additional color savings and job site delivery. Well, yeah, definitely somebody needs to deliver it. And this is how you put it together. Honestly, seriously, super helpful. I wonder, why do you need a drop outlet? Maybe because it can't go. Oh, that's for the downspout. Huh. Everything's like $15 though. And then can you cut them? Those are aluminum ones even. Aluminum. Dang, every single one is like $12, $25, $16, $17, $23, $6 over there, but maybe it's too cheap. Okay, we don't need rough edge, but look, these are just regular concrete. Oh, half blocks are $1.73. Regular concrete blocks, and that's what we would want, is concrete. $2.45. Could we do, oh, somebody left their drink down there. Could we do concrete block in the back where it's wanting to flood back there? To kind of create a little bit of a retaining wall type of a thing. I don't know. It'd have to look good. You'd have to make it look good. All right, we're back home and we've had some lunch. The dogs have been out and I was thinking more and more about the fencing situation. So I want to come out here and look again. You guys stay and see. So if we can't fence the front, so be it. And I don't necessarily want to try to force that. If that's not the way, it's not the way. I should have known. Nobody else has that. But fencing the front doesn't mean we can't. Oh wow, it's really, hang on. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there to the camera. Fencing the front doesn't mean we can't fence to the front, right? Let me flip this around and see if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So this is the front corner of the house. So can the fence still come all the way to the front here? I'd like to think so. Yep, because that would leave the front. And then there's no utilities, there's no nothing for anybody to have to get. So we could at least fence in that portion and have a good bit more fenced over here. And then let's go to the other side of the house. Now this is the front garage. And I think we could bring the fence line up probably just to where the utilities are. First off, we're not supposed to have the dish apparently to our covenants or restrictions, and the meter would need to be managed still by the city. And this AT&T, oh gosh, did you guys see that lizard? He's in there. That's what's so creepy. I don't know why we have that huge AT&T box. I don't feel like I signed up for that, although we might have. But anyway, we could bring the fence right up to here. Right up to here. So it wouldn't be to the front of the garage, but it would be the front here, going to the back. That would give a significant more usable space for the backyard. Okay, I came out here and filmed on my camera, and then all of a sudden, my camera said couldn't read the card reader or something. So I'm on my phone. I don't know. Just lost all that footage. It's fine. It's the name of the game. I used to get so bent out of shape about that, but bottom line is those Canon cameras are not meant for videography. They're meant for taking pictures. So we have to deal with that. iPhone is really good. Let me show you what I was thinking about for if we got a new fence around the front, like the sides and whatnot on both sides, but in the back, let's see. Okay, so where the water kind of wants to flood here, and I think what it's been doing is because we don't have gutters, the water has just been eroding the land, eroding. And so what I was thinking is perhaps the water just stays there. Like all the rest of the people's land along either side, I think there's foliage and stuff. Like I think they dug this out to put a fence, and I think that's what caused this. So one of the things I was thinking about is perhaps instead of maybe doing a fence again, what I think I want to do, and because we don't have zoning or whatever, we can kind of do what we want to a certain extent. I was thinking about getting gravel and dirt brought in this side of our house and dumped in here to try to level this back out so that it's not such a steep grade going down. And then what I was thinking is taking some of this material, which it looks like, I could be wrong, but it looks like they just like shoved this material out that way so that they could put this fence in. And so what if we rip out this fence, we fill in some of this space with just natural materials so it'll break down, but then also like rocks or gravel and whatnot so that the water has somewhere to like filter through. Because right now it's just super sediment. And obviously you can see where it's rotted the bottom of the fence panel. So what I'm thinking is let's try to fill in, and we'll still keep a grade, of course, because you want the water to flow away from the house. But then I think if we balance out this grounding here, it'll naturally have something to like flow through and connect with the rest of the way or whatever. And then I'm thinking let's do some of those cinder blocks along the back here. And then, gravel, and then maybe we can do like a 2-tiered into the land on this other side. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. The cell phone might be better than how the camera was. Hate to say it, but iPhone's pretty good. So the way that this slopes like that, right? If we kind of match it and then we can build the bed up to that, then maybe I was thinking we could have some trellis panels going along the back side. So it's not even a fence. It would just be raised bed. Basically this one big long raised bed and then a trellis situation going on the back. And then we could grow fruit, or we could grow vegetables, or we could grow flowers and you know, native pollinators and whatnot, native mosquito insect repellent plants along the back, going up like that. That's what I'm thinking would be a really good idea to help even out this space and not create a fence in the back, but just like a garden bed of sorts. The other thing that I think it sounds really cool is being able to do a floating patio deck back here, a floating deck. And it sounds like I can build it myself. I just got to get the permit for it. And the permits are like $20. So, and then I think you have to get it inspected. You know, there's a few more steps, but if we could screen in that back patio portion, and then that way we can utilize, let me see if I can show you better. If we screened this in, then we could utilize this all year round. If it was winter, we could put a little space heater, not a space heater, but like a, you know, like a patio heater that they've got. But then in the summer, one of the issues with the summertime and out here is the bugs. You can't like sit out here and have dinner at night because you'll just get eaten alive by bugs. So if we could screen this in and have it be like a screened in porch, and then this portion here, basically from the edge of the house out to, I'm thinking to here, to this edge. Basically this you know, from this edge to that edge of raised patio. That would be really cool. That would be really cool because that just gives us that much more seating, you know, seating space and hanging out space. Like you can tell already, the grass is not, I think you can tell. The grass is growing, but like super patchy. And part of that's the dogs running crazy, but part of that, well, a lot of that's the dogs running crazy. You can like tell their path around. But I think because this is always in the shade. This part is literally always in the shade, and grass is barely gonna grow here. Like it grows because it's hot and humid, but it's barely growing. So, that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of what I'm thinking. This video has just been all about brainstorming and planning and thinking stuff out, and kind of, I'm really curious what your guys' thoughts are. So I did call a fence guy to see, you know, if he'll come and do a quote to take away this old fence stuff, and then what it would cost to just have him replace it and like extend it more towards the front, but not the front obviously because we were restricted. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I, you know, hope this is a good kind of first episode. Welcome back. I'm not sure what our plans are exactly, but I want to do something to make this a little more homesteady. And, you know, we have to start kind of with the drainage. I feel like we have to start with the securing the perimeter. I think that for sure was one of the failures of ours when we were back in Hawaii, is we didn't have a fence, you know. So yeah, it's all about planning and thinking and brainstorming. And I'm really curious, like, what do you guys think? Please do comment down below about, you know, now we know there's some restrictions on what we can do as far as like the deed restrictions. So if I got to put gutters in, which I'm going to do, they have to match like the paint, which makes sense, like make it look good. We can't fence the front yard. So how do we utilize that? But there wasn't any other restrictions on that. We're in a no zoning. So we can do a lot, but what makes the most sense? That's what I'm curious. What makes the most sense? What do you guys think? Chickens is like a no-brainer, but maybe I'm overthinking, or like not overthinking, but like blanking on what other options is out there. And then this back fence open area, what do you guys think we could do with that? Maybe, because I don't think we need a fence back there. If we could do planters and trellis, that would still be a barrier for the dogs, but not necessarily like a boundary. It wouldn't be a placed boundary, if that makes sense. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for 2 days. And yeah, I'm not sure what the next video will be, but it's going to be something, because I'm committed to getting this channel back up and going, and committed to making this little urban homestead into something. And so maybe I'll wait and see what your guys' comments are. What do you think we should do next, now that we've kind of planned and we've thought out a bunch of ideas? And then we'll go from there. So thank you so much, and see you guys next time. Bye.